What's going on, Falcons fans? Logan here. Welcome back to Rise Up Rundown. And if you're new here, welcome. So, another week, another mailbag questions video. And per usual, these are all the mailbag questions that I have received. And if there's any I missed, I do apologize in advance. But these are the questions that I received before I started recording. And I thank each and every one of you for the questions. There's a lot of them. And let's just get straight into it. Jonathan Bell asked, with so much more talent added this offseason, why do you think we didn't get any primetime games? Does the NFL really hate the Falcons that much? I'll tell you why. Well, actually, two things. For one thing, I guess that Marcus Mariota throw, the infamous throw versus the Panthers last year in Carolina, where he was just like on his back and then just like, oh, like what the hell was that? Like, I'm assuming that was just very traumatizing to watch as NFL fans. I mean, I guess I don't blame them. That was pretty bad to watch. But if it wasn't that, look, I get that the NFC South was terrible last year. I get it. I really do. And I'm not saying that suddenly the NFC South is going to go from 0 to 100 real quickly in 2023. I think it's still anyone's division to take realistically. And because it's anyone's division, but not necessarily in this elite way, the NFL is just kind of like, with how bad the NFC was last year, we kind of don't really want many primetime games for these teams. And to be honest with you, I'll be real with you. I will be straight up real with you. I kind of agree with it, only because the Falcons lately have not been very good on primetime. You look at last year versus the Panthers. You look at the year before that versus the Patriots. 2020, we weren't very good in primetime. Falcons have kind of been a joke in primetime, if we're being real. And I guess the Falcons kind of just have to earn it. And to be real with you, I kind of get it. It still sucks to see, but I get it. I guess I get it. I mean, at least we got a London game. The Falcons usually... Well, when I say usually, I mean like the one time they played in London recently, which was in 2021, but they play well there, so hopefully we can turn things around in London if we can't play in primetime. Terry Turner asked, by having the easiest upcoming schedule in the NFL, do you think this will speed up Desmond Ridder's development and benefit his confidence? Hashtag rise up. Yes, I do actually. I think he's got a bit of... okay, so I need to be careful when I say this. He doesn't have an easy job. Playing an NFL quarterback position is not an easy job, but just considering what he had this year compared to last year, things should be a lot better for Desmond Ridder. That's what I meant to say. He's got a better situation than he did last year. He's got easier teams to play. You don't want to overlook anyone, but this year's schedule is more favorable than last year. He's got more, players to throw it to. He's still got Kyle Pitts and Drake London, but now he's got Bijan to throw it to if he wants. And Arthur Smith is getting a little more experience in at head coach. So hopefully Desmond Ridder can improve really quickly. And to be honest, I think he will. Tara Turner asks, so what are your thoughts on the schedule? Is it favorable for the Falcons or a challenge? Hashtag rise up. All right, so I sort of made a bit of a joking NFL schedule predictions video, but I also wasn't joking when I released it on TikTok, and then I decided to release it everywhere, like on YouTube and Twitter and Instagram. And it was supposed to be like a comedic way of how I think Falcons fans are going to react to what I predict happens in each game. And in the end, I predicted them to get 8 wins. And people sort of didn't like that, actually. They sort of were like, oh, come on, be real. The Falcons are a 10-win team. And I'm not going to spoil too much on the upcoming schedule predictions video with ATL Will. By the way, prepare yourselves for that because that is one of the best collabs I've ever had on this channel. And I was excited to bring him in, thankful to bring him in, and I think you all will enjoy that very much. But without spoiling too much, so here's the thing. I think at most Falcons can be a 9-win team. I see it. I really do. I see the improvements from the team. And I do think Desmond Ridder is going to take a step up. But because of how, let's be honest, I think people are kind of overreacting to how good he played last year. He didn't play that good down the stretch of the season. And, I don't know. New defensive coordinator, I have high hopes for him, but still unproven. I think this Falcons team can be a 9-win team at best, but I want to see a little more from our new guys and Desmond Ridder before I say we're a 10-win team. Now, if we got 10 wins, would it surprise me? No, absolutely not. The NFC is favorable first off in our schedule, and also the Falcons have improved, but I'm not going to predict that at the moment. The only thing that would surprise me is if we got 11 wins or more. That would be surprising, but 10 wins, not surprising, but not predicting it, if that makes sense. Archangel asks, from looking at our brand new schedule, which game or games are you most excited about seeing our Falcons play? I'm really excited to see the Falcons versus Jets, only because I just really want to see what Aaron Rodgers looks like as a Jet. I'm excited to see the Falcons in London versus the Jaguars. Any divisional rival matchup I'm always excited for. And I like that we play the Saints at home after the bye week. So we have extra time to prepare for finally, hopefully, a home win versus the Saints, because we haven't beaten them at home in a while. And I'm sure there's others that I can't think of at the moment. The Titans revenge game for Arthur Smith might be kind of a fun one to watch. Let's see. That's all the games I can think of at the moment. But there's a lot of exciting games coming up. Maybe even the Detroit game could be exciting. Lots of fun games to watch. Leonel Stevens asks, do you feel like we can at least go to the playoffs with our current roster? Yeah, absolutely. The NFC is very favorable. The division is really anyone's, but I believe the Falcons actually have what it takes to snag the division, even if they only had like 9 wins or so. We've improved as a team. If this was last year, I know the Falcons weren't that far away from making playoffs, but they weren't realistically a playoff team, let's be honest. This roster, I think, definitely realistically is a playoff roster. Now, Super Bowl, no, that's definitely, we're not there yet. But, and I'll be honest with you, if we make the playoffs, I'm expecting to be one and done. But, I mean, hey, going to the playoffs is a step forward in where Arthur Smith wants to go, and I think that's all that really matters in 2023 is to make playoffs. Archangel asks, could the Falcons still bring in another defensive pass rusher like a Chase Young or Unique? Your thoughts? Sure. Bringing in Unique Ngakoue would be awesome, and also with Chase Young. Am I predicting any more Falcons moves? Not really. I mean, I think at this point the Falcons probably, I don't want to say they're settled with their roster, but they're just kind of like, I don't know, seeing what this roster's got at the moment. Now, if they made another move, it wouldn't be surprising. They've made some surprising moves all year to the point where a new one shouldn't be surprising. But bringing in some more defensive talent definitely would be nice, especially for Ryan Nielsen, but probably not going to sign anyone, right? I would assume that they're just going to see these players and what they got. But we'll see. King Dog asked, if the season started today, do you think we could win our division? Yeah. Now, I know it kind of goes back to what I said in the previous mailbag question, but again, the NFC is very favorable and the Falcons did improve. My only biggest question the Falcons have, or that I have for the Falcons is Desmond Ridder going to take a huge step up? Now, I like Desmond Ridder. I'm not trying to make it sound like I don't believe in him, but I'm also not trying to give him too much benefit of the doubt because, to be fair, he is still only a third-round quarterback, and he did get better as the season went on in 2022, but I'm not going to act like he got that much better. So I do still want to see a little bit of improvement for him, but other than that, yeah, I think this division is pretty favorable for us. Archangel asks, out of all the new starting and rookie quarterbacks that we play this year, which will be the toughest that you think? Of all the starting and rookie quarterbacks we play, I think Aaron Rodgers pretty obviously is the hardest quarterback we're going to play, right? And the hardest rookie I would imagine is like Bryce Young, because we have to play him twice. He's going to be pretty familiar with us the second time we play him. So, yeah, I guess the hardest rookie would be Bryce Young. And the hardest quarterback overall is Aaron Rodgers. Archangel asks, with free agency over and the draft over, and after seeing our schedule, do you see our Atlanta Falcons favoring the Falcons back in the playoffs this year? Yeah, absolutely. I keep saying this, but again, the NFC is very favorable, and we've improved. And at this point, I think you guys probably are almost like, okay, Logan, we kind of get what you're trying to say with the Falcons and going to the playoffs. But I'll say it again. The Falcons improved, and the NFC is very favorable. We should make the playoffs, and if we don't win our division, surely we should get at least the 5th or 6th seed. Surely, right? Even a 7th seed is okay, but preferably you want to get a higher seed than that. So if we don't win our division, I can see the Falcons getting a 5th or 6th seed. Archangel asks, out of all our games this year, which are our toughest games in your head? The Jets, only because of Aaron Rodgers coming in, and then any division rival. I'm not going to sleep on the Bucs just yet. They still have some of that Super Bowl talent. And obviously the Saints always play us well. Panthers are bringing in a great team. So I'm not going to sleep on any of our division rivals. The Jags in London, it's on a neutral field, so you just never really know who has the advantage there. But I would say the Jags do, only because they've just had more experience in London. But it's not just that. The Jags are just a very good team right now, so that's hard. Detroit's going to be hard. Who am I missing? Vikings are going to be hard. I only say the Titans are going to be hard because they're probably going to want some sort of they have that revenge game mindset against Arthur Smith. So that'll probably be pretty hard. But the toughest one in general, what is going to be the toughest game for the Falcons? Oh, man. I don't know. It really could be any one of them, considering we do have the easiest schedule, at least the NFL says we do. So really it could be any of them, but I don't know. I guess the Jets, because Aaron Rodgers is, he's still Aaron Rodgers, and that Jets team is building something special. And if it's not that, the Jags game might be pretty hard for us too. That'll be a challenge. And any of the division rivals are going to be pretty tough. I'm trying not to move on to the next question, only because I feel like there's a team I'm missing. I'm missing a team that I haven't talked about is going to be a hard game. But either way, there's a lot of hard games, but then there's a lot of easy ones too. Archangel asks, I don't think we will have a losing season this year, and we don't make playoffs. But if we do you think Arthur Smith is gone? I agree that I don't think we're going to have a losing season. And I don't think we're going to miss playoffs. I do think this is the year for the Falcons to go to the playoffs. But I also will admit, even though I believe in Arthur Smith so much, I'm not going to say that Arthur Smith is going to be fired after this year if we have a losing season. But he is 100% going to be on the hot seat. That is definitely not a question. People are going to look at Arthur Smith and think he's on the hot seat after what Terry Fontenot was able to bring in. It's why is Arthur Smith not really doing anything with the talent he's bringing in? So, and if we don't make playoffs in 2024, that one's easy. Arthur Smith would be fired. I think he would be on the hot seat at least. But fired, I don't know if Arthur Blank would be willing to do that. Dak Dargani asks, when are you releasing your schedule predictions video? Also, do you think the Falcons will beat the Panthers week 1? It's been a while since we've won our first game. So I'm just going to say that I know I technically released my schedule predictions video in like a comedic way through TikTok, and then I uploaded it. But my real schedule predictions video comes out this week, actually. And we have a guest, ATL Will, from TikTok and Twitter and YouTube. He's going to be joining us, and we're going to preview that game. So while the video is going, you can there's live comments, because it's kind of been a while since I did a little preview. And people seem to like co-host and other people joining the channel. And I was like, okay, well, I guess I might as well preview this, because I guess people like when there's another person joining the channel. Pound for Pound, ATL, and Out of Your Falcon Mind, Matt Mike Sports, all of them have multiple people join the show. And I was like, okay, I guess people really like when there's another person joining. So that's why I'm making it a preview. So I guess it's a little fun for people to live chat and also see another person come in. But anyway, yeah, it's gonna be released this week. And do I think we beat the Panthers week 1? I'll save that for the schedule predictions video. Archangel asked, what's your trap game or games for the Falcons this year? I love that question because there's always those types of games. I don't want to spoil too much on what I say in the schedule predictions video, but I will kind of put it this way, that any trap games that I didn't see any, like, so I'll be honest, I didn't see any like huge trap games where I'm like, oh yeah, everyone would say the Falcons lose this, but we're definitely gonna win. If I could choose one, I would say there's a possibility that we sweep the Saints, and I guess that's like my trap game. Because the Falcons never really lose to Derek Carr, let's be honest, they just don't. And the Saints really lost a lot of their players, and a lot of those players, and not even just their players, but like their staff, like Terry Fontenot and whatnot. They went to the Falcons, and I can't imagine the Falcons don't have at least a little bit of a revenge factor for all those guys that the Saints lost. So I guess the Saints games will be the revenge, trap games here. But other than that, I didn't see any like huge like trap games, but I guess I would choose those. Archangel asked, who will be your X factor on the Falcons defense this year? Jesse Bates, literally no doubt about it. Let's be honest, now even though we love AJ Terrell, but I think he probably is the sole focus of the defense right now, only because for one thing, he was this big signing, but two, he was already a huge superstar. And with him coming in, it gives AJ Terrell and Jeff Okudah a little less pressure, a little bit, to be like the guy on defense. I mean, we obviously hope that they do well. I'm not saying that they can just lay back and take it easy, but like, you know what I mean? Like, I think Jesse Bates is probably going to be the X factor. We've been needing a really good safety for a while now. So I would say Jesse Bates. Archangel asked, also, if we have a losing season this year, do we think we grab another QB next year if we don't make playoffs? Absolutely. I think Desmond Ridder. Now, I don't want to. I feel like I sound like I'm like hating on Desmond Ridder, but I'm not. But I also will be honest and say that if Desmond Ridder doesn't show any promise in 2023, it sounds harsh. I know it's only his second year, but you would think like it's probably not going anywhere, right? Like it's a third-round quarterback. I don't know. Like the Falcons kind of tried to replace him a lot. If the Kyler Murray rumors were true, that they were trying to get this blockbuster trade during the draft to get Kyler Murray. I don't know if that's true or not, but they're saying it is. And then they tried to get Jimmy Garoppolo last year, tried to get all these guys. So I don't want to say the Falcons don't believe in Desmond Ridder, but I also think they tried to see what they could do to prepare ahead of time if Desmond Ridder didn't work out. So yeah, I would say we have to get another quarterback if Ridder doesn't work out. I know that sounds harsh because it would only be his second year in the NFL, but it's true. I don't know. I think they would need to find another quarterback. Archangel asked, who is your X factor on the Falcons offense this year? Man, there's a lot. I mean, low-key, I would want to say Arthur Smith only because I think he's going to be a great play designer, but I mean, sure, the offense does mostly rely on Desmond Ridder. It all is up to Desmond Ridder on if he wants to be the guy at quarterback, and I think he can. So if he really improves, hopefully he could be the X factor. But if it's not him, a lot of people are saying that Bijan Robinson is already like in potential to make the Hall of Fame. That was really early. But they're saying that he has Hall of Fame potential, and if he has Hall of Fame potential, and they drafted a running back of all positions at pick number 8, he kind of has to be the X factor, right? Like it's like we drafted this young stud really high for a running back that everyone is saying is like one of the best prospects to ever come out of the draft, and he's got all of this Hall of Fame potential. Hopefully he could be the X factor, but that could also go to Kyle Pitts. It could also go to even Chris Lindstrom. I don't know. Like, it could go to a lot of these players. But I guess Bijan is my answer. Archangel asks, what would be your bold prediction for our Falcons this year? It could be anything, good or bad. Man, I love that question, and sadly, I haven't been thinking about it as much. I love bold predictions. So I'm thinking of one right off the fly, literally just right off the bat, just the first thing that comes to my head. Let's see. If I could make any bold prediction this year, oh man, I'll go ahead and say, I don't know if there's like some sort of like bold prediction, but Kyle Pitts returns to an 1,000-yard season. I don't know if that's like a bold prediction, but I think now that he looks like he's probably going to move positions, maybe he's going to play wide receiver. I don't know. We'll see what happens, but I can't imagine that Arthur Smith is just going to leave Kyle Pitts out in the dust. Yeah, sure, he didn't really like utilize him that much in years past, but I think he's going to learn from that mistake. And now that there's Jonnu Smith coming in to play their true tight end, Desmond Ridder might, I guess, give Kyle Pitts more opportunities, and Arthur Smith will give Kyle Pitts more opportunities, because if they didn't, why did you draft him at 4th overall? And he also got injured last year. He's probably going to be motivated to do even better. So I'll say that Kyle Pitts gets an 1,000-yard season. Goldie Jr. asked, are the Falcons in line for a breeze through the schedule? So I don't think so, but I do think the Falcons can have at least a winning record. 9 wins at most. No cakewalks, never overlook an opponent. But it is a fairly easy schedule compared to how it was in years past. Archangel asks, which game do you see us winning that we have no business winning? And which game do you see us losing that we have no business losing? Because let's be honest, our Falcons basically do this every year. A game that I can kind of see us winning, even though we shouldn't, is the Vikings. Now, we suck against the Vikings. We're freaking terrible against them. But I can kind of see us winning that. I won't predict that at the moment, but I can see it. Because, we're home. The Vikings are aging because they're veterans. They're aging. And I think the Falcons are in a bit of a better direction than the Vikings. We barely ever beat them. And again, I won't predict that we will, but, I can see it happening. And then the game that I see us losing and we have no business losing, I've been saying this a lot, actually. I said it in my predictions video, but I'm worried about that Colts game. I know, everyone's like, oh, but the Colts suck. And you are right, the Colts do suck. If this was last year against Matt Ryan, I think we would have won, as crazy as it sounds, but because it's like, you don't really want to say it's easy to beat Matt Ryan, but 2022 Matt Ryan was just not his best self. But this year's Colts, they're not some great team, but that history against the Colts really worries me, dude. We've only beaten them twice since being in the league in 1966. And I mean, also, what if Anthony Richardson is the guy? So I'm really worried about that Colts game. A lot of people disagree with that, and that's fine, but I don't know. I can see it. I can definitely see it. Archangel asks, who is the most underrated player on our defense this year? And who is the most underrated player on offense this year in your mind? Underrated, I would have to go with, I'll go with Arnold Ebiketie. Only because, he had a great first few games of the season. And sure, he dropped off a little bit, I won't lie. But I think he's got a great surrounding core to develop with Grady Jarrett, Calais Campbell, Ryan Nielsen, David Onyemata. So many of these players helping him develop. And he really wasn't that bad before he fell off. I love Arnold Ebiketie. I think he could have a bit of a breakout year. Now, not to the point where, he looks like some sort of, future superstar, just kind of like a player where it's like, yeah, I can see him staying for a little longer than we maybe expected, I guess. And then an underrated player on the offense, I guess Desmond Ridder, he was only a 3rd-round pick, and he did improve last year. He's got a great surrounding core to help him develop. He's got a winner mentality. He's even got a monkey on his back to help him get better. He doesn't want to be replaced by Taylor Heineke. Arthur Smith is a great a great play designer. So hopefully Desmond Ridder could end up getting the recognition that he deserves. And the last question is from that one Falcons fan. The media team needs an upgrade. Do you agree? So I have a bit of I don't want to say an unpopular opinion, because I guess it's a little mixed. Like, some people like their media and then some people don't. And I guess I'll have to say that I think that the Falcons media team is not great, but I think they're a good, media team. Now, yes, from time to time, there are some posts that they make where I'm like, literally, what the fuck was that? Right? Like, last year, what was it? Like, it was like, oh, they posted something like every opponent, if they were a chicken wing, I think, or something like that. I'm like, what? What is this? Every opponent, if they were a chicken wing? So yeah, there's things that they could have improved upon, but for the most part, I think that our media team is kind of underrated. They actually have some jokes up their sleeve. They played along with the Red Stallions. That was on the Titan schedule release video. Their TikTok schedule release formatted video I thought was pretty funny. The only thing I would have done differently was label who they were talking about, because it was a little hard to follow at times, but overall I really liked the video. I thought they had some clever jokes. They seriously went as far as to make fun of Drew Brees getting struck by lightning. And then, just some funny moments here and there, like that drone that was flying all over the Seahawks stadium week 3 of last year. The Falcons used that as a bit of a joke and was like, I was wondering what that was. And it showed like a drone carrying a W for the Falcons. So I like the media team a lot. It's not great. They have some things to improve upon, but I like it a lot. And I think it's a bit underrated. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And I will see you guys with a video this week for my schedule predictions. The only reason I'm not saying this Friday is because I'm way too impatient and I just want to release the schedule prediction video as fast as I can. But love and appreciate all for the support. And as always, rise up.